Hey everybody, it's Jason. Welcome to an unboxing for a new Exploding Kittens Good versus Evil base game. So if you've previously played any of the Exploding Kitten games or seen unboxings, this is just a brand new base game. It can be played standalone by itself, or you can pick up one of the other base games or expansion packs. You can mix and match it and kind of create your own game. Um, I will be trying to put out an updated for the year 2023 like kind of like buyer's guide of all the different sets. There's just one other like brand new set after this that came out. I'm waiting on to finish that up. So until that gets here, I can't finish that video because I want to go with all the current content, at least all the current stuff I have. Yeah, so this is based off. I guess they're also doing a little Netflix series. I haven't seen it yet, or really heard anything about it, but it's gonna have to deal with these two kittens, which are the God and Devil kitten. Um, so yeah, what's in this set versus one of the other sets? We'll go over all the cards. So it's going to play 95% the same as all the other exploding characters, just like one extra. Good versus evil, Armageddon card mentioned right here. That's a new little thing, but you can easily just take them out if you don't want to play that rule. Um, but what's the basis of the game for anyone that hasn't jumped in or heard about this before? So, Exploding Kittens is a party game, group of players. You have a deck of cards here. Um, Everyone sits down, you play the cards. The very simple thing is um, you play a card, then you draw a card. If you draw a card that's an exploding kitten, they blow up, you're out of the game. It's as simple as that. Unless you have a diffuse card. Then you can diffuse the kitten, like you put that exploding kitten back in the deck for somebody else to draw. And then to help you avoid or maybe make someone else do it, you can play other different action cards to make your opponents play more cards, or to maybe let you see what's coming up to know if you should be doing something or not. But what is nice about the game is the way it works is if there are 5 players, there are 4 exploding kittens in the deck, so the game will end. This is not a game that's going to continue to go on and on and on. It is a player elimination game, so keep that in mind that like you could end up getting eliminated on your first turn or second turn. Highly unlikely because everyone does start with a diffuse during the core game rules. So you always have some way of avoiding it, but like you could get eliminated early on, but knowing that the game is going to eventually end. So like, yeah, they recommend it's about a 15-minute game as long as people aren't over complicating their turns, because for the most part it's do this, do this, do this. It's pretty simple. Um, you can go through. So before we look at the cards, I'm just gonna go a little quicker deep dive into them instructions. So we do have the new ones here. 53 cards, 2 to 5 players, 1 Godcat card, 1 Devilcat card, and 1 playmat. Um, yeah, so how it works in the decks are some exploding kittens. You play the game by putting the deck face down and taking turns drawing cards until someone draws the exploding kittens. It explodes, they're out of the game. Basically, if you explode, you lose, and you are full of incinerate loser sauce, sad sauce. If you don't explode, you win, and you are all full of greatness. Good job, buddy. All the other cards will lessen your chances of getting exploded by exploding kittens. Um, Setup is pretty simple. So this one, you set aside the good versus evil playmat and place your god and devil cats on them. They have different backs, so it makes them easy to find out. Remove all exploding kittens from the deck, the 4 of them, and set them aside. Remove all of the defuse cards from the deck, 6 of them, set them aside, give 1 to each player. Note, depending on how many people are playing, there will be some diffuses left over. Shuffle 2 extras back into the deck, remove the rest from the game. So if you're playing a 5-player game, you'll only have 1 extra diffuse. So everyone starts with 1, and you put some extras back into the deck, so you have a chance to draw some later on, which is kind of nice. Step 4, I'm skipping some of these like explanation rules. Step 4, shuffle a deck, draw 7 cards face down to each player. Now has a hand of 8 cards, 7 cards plus your 1 diffuse. But keep them secret. 5, inserting up exploding kittens into the deck so there's 1 fewer than the number of players. So if you're playing a 5-player game, you add all 4. If you're playing a 3-player game, you add 2 of them. And then put the rest back. So that assumes that everyone will die. So if you get down to the last, you're down to like two people, and you're down to like two cards left in the deck. You know that one of those two cards will be the last exploding kitten. That's why I say the game will eventually end. Hopefully, it doesn't go all the way to the end of the deck, but I have had games where it's been like the last like one or two cards is where the last one ended up. There are variants for 2 to 3 player games. Shuffle the deck, put it face down in the middle. This is your draw pile. Pick a player to go first. Pretty simple. So that's setup. Taking your turn is very easy. You can do either one of two things: play a card or pass. Play no cards. Now, this is what makes the game very interesting. So, to play a card, take a card from your hand, play it face up on the top of the discard pile. Follow the instructions on the card. After you follow the instructions on the card, you can play another card or you can pass. Play as many cards as you like. Now, why would you choose to play or to not play cards? Again, some cards might help you get stuff. Um, some cards you might want to keep in. If you have your diffuse, you might want to. Obviously, you're not going to play that unless you have to. You might keep cards in your hand as a bluffing mechanic. Or if you're playing one of the sets that has ways to, or where you have, people can steal cards in your hand. If you have 4 cards in your hand, it's going to be harder for them to steal like your diffuse versus if you have 2 cards left in your hand. Yeah, so it's not always necessarily beneficial to play cards just for the bluffing reason sometimes. End your turn by drawing a card from the top of the deck. From the top of the draw pile into your hand, hoping it's not exploding thing. This is your turn. Most games that end your turn by drawing a card. And then, so yeah, draw the last card. Exploding kitten, you either defuse it or you lose. If you don't, then you just, next person goes. Um, so eventually, every player will explode except for one who wins the game. You won't ever run out of cards, draw out because you inserted one exploding kitten to explode all but one player. 3 good things to remember. Save your cards early in the game when you have a chance of exploding is low. You can always count the cards left in the draw pile to figure out the odds of exploding, and there's no maximum or minimum hand size. If you're under cards, there's no special action to take. Keep playing, draw at least one or more cards in your turn. So yeah, your second turn, you could play, if you have 8 cards, you could play 7 of them, and that could be it, and then you just have to wait until you draw more cards. All right, so for the new rules, the playmat, the Godcat, Devilcat are live on top of it, used by playing the Armageddon card. This is triggered when someone plays the Armageddon card. Are the Godcat's most powerful cat, the Godcat can be almost anything you want it to be. The Devilcat causes the player to immediately explode. They must defuse a card in the discard pile or die. So, when you play the Armageddon card, grab the Godcat and the Devilcat from the playmat, shuffle them, look at the 2 cards in secret, and place one face down in front of you and one in front of any other player so that only you know which is which. Without looking at the card, the other player must decide to keep the card in front of them or swap the card in front of you. Once they both make their decision, flip over both cards. Player to Godcat gets it, the player to Devilcat exposes or uses defuse card. Either way, if the player exploded or played a defuse to save himself, put the Devilcat back on the spot on the playmat. The player who gets the Godcat keeps it in your hand. Your turn is over. You do not draw from the draw pile. So yeah, this is like the one like little mini brand new rule to the game. So this is not in most games, but it also has a little element of trickery. If you play that one cat card and you have the God and the Devilcat, you know which one's which. You have to kind of debate whether you think your opponent is going to think you put the good card in front of you or in front of them. So even if you get it, it's still a 50-50 gamble because you could put either one in front of you and the other player could pick that card or they could pick their own. So it's almost just as much as shuffling and just randomly dealing to each other is about the same. So in the next couple of pages, explain how each cards work. I'm not going to go over them right here. We're just going to go ahead and look at each one as we go through them, except I want to go over the special combos. Um, Playing a matching pair of cat cards where you just steal a card from another character no longer applies to a pair of cat cards. Now it applies to any pair of cards with the same title, such as a pair of action cards. Ignore the combos instruction when you're playing cards. So this is a brand new rule that they added. So if you have 2 cards of the same thing, if you don't want to play them, you can always just get rid of them and use them like these cat cards. They have some generic cat cards. These cards are powerless on their own, but if you collect any 2 matching cat cards, play them as a pair to steal a random card from another player. Um, and then there's a 3 of a kind. Same as 2 of a kind, but you get to name a card you want from another player. If they have that card, they must give you one. If they don't, you get nothing. So that's kind of cool too. Alright, so let's scoot this back over and let's take a look. So here is our board. So it's nothing on that side. Just says good cat, evil cat. Fairly simple. And then if we actually just place both of them down at the same time. Oh, sorry. I'm used to my camera having a zoom feature, and this particular one doesn't. Alright. Alright, so the good cat says the best of the blessed, and the bad cat, the devil cat, says the worst of the cursed. Now, they do have the little logo on the bottom, so you do know what set everyone belongs to, and I love the fact you can play them from either side, like you'll flip cards around. Um, Godcat says play as any card in the game except a nope. After playing Godcat, put it back on the playmat. So once you have it in your hand, you can use it as any card. So you might need to keep the instructions out if you're not familiar with all the different card types are. If you're someone that really knows exploding kittens, you could argue that anyone in the game needs exploding kittens. You could play a card that's not even in this game. So you could play one of the variant types of games, or like in one of the expansion packs, or one of the other starter decks. And that'd be an argument you'd have to have. I would honestly say if it's a Godcat, it can be anything. It can be a card that doesn't exist in this current game, as long as it's from the Exploding Kittens um, lineup of games. The Devilcat says you explode if the Devilcat is in Armageddon. You must put discard a card or defuse or explode, then put it back on the playmat. Alright. And then the backs of the cards, they actually look very different, so you can tell which ones are. But it also means that if you draw the Godcat and it's sitting in your hand, everyone is going to know exactly what it is. You might not want to hang on to it too terribly long. Alright, let's look at the rest of our cards. We have the Exploding Kitten, so a little Devilcat sends a bomb up to an Angel Cat. The Devilcat is throwing pepper at the Angel Cat, and he sneezes and he explodes the universe. The Devilcats divide by 0, which cracks the earth. And our fourth one is the Angel Cat sends holy water balloons to the Devilcat. So these are kind of fun, a little bit different artworks. Alright, so then we have the diffuse cards. What's also really fun about this game is that all the cards are kind of color-coded from every single set. So every set of Exploding Kittens you ever buy, the diffuse cards will be the screen, have this little like wire snip picture. So if you mix and match from one set to the other, you can easily tell what they are. So then they have a little subtext on the top, which kind of explains what's going on in the picture, but has no inherent gameplay effect. Diffuse being flattering live action role playing. So instead of exploding, secretly put an exploding kitten back into the draw pile. So it makes the diffuse cards really powerful, as besides stopping you from exploding, they will also let you put the card back on. So you could literally be like, ha, I do this. You could put the deck under the table, secretly put the next card on the top of the deck, and the next player is automatic. Well, you wouldn't want to put it on the next card. You could put it like next, like 2 cards down, then you draw your card, then the next player is automatically gonna have to draw that. Now it doesn't mean they might have something that might let them skip that card or whatever. Or you could count like try and be devious and count like, okay, so if I go 6 cards down, it'll put it on this player like 2 turns later. Or you could just shuffle it towards the bottom of the deck and be like, we don't have to worry about it for a while. But then you might draw it on your turn. So it's kind of a mind game too. Diffuse via catnip sweater, via laser tag, via scratching head post. Whoops, dropped that one. Via turning into tuna and looking quite delicious. Via tummy rubs no matter how much it hurts. Alright, so those are the diffuse cards. Then we have the new Armageddon card, which matches the backs of the God and Devilcat. Those are some funny pictures. The Devilcat's all full of like different various meats. steaks, hams, turkeys. The Godcat up there is bathroom stuff and chainsaws, plungers, diapers, toilet papers, a shower curtain cape. That's pretty funny. Um, anything to become armor. Trigger the Armageddon. Afterwards, and your turn can only be played if Godcat is on the playmat. So that's the other thing with the Armageddon. It gets in your hand, it'll have the right back like the rest of them. But if somebody still has that Godcat in their hand, they can forego this from happening a second time. Take this fight outside. Hey, wheelie pile horse is a lawnmower. I love it. And have a classic showdown. So there's only 3 of those. It's not going to trigger terribly often. Alright, then we have 4 copies of the Feral Cat. So these are all 4 the same, and these can be used as any cat card. So like we talked earlier about the ones that said if you have duplicates, these can be used to mix any of them. They kind of just help make that a little bit better. So we have 4 copies of the Mercat. So like that, all 4 will have the exact same artwork. This cat is a cat card and powerless on its own. Play 2 Mercats as a pair to steal a random card from another player. Or if you play 3, you can then choose a card, but then only if they have it. So we have 4 copies of the Night Cat. 4 copies of the Horse Cat. Which is more of a unicorn, but that's alright. And 4 copies of a Troll Cat. So now what's neat is all 4 of those types, the Troll, Knight, Horse, and Mermaid, are all brand new. They have other of these basic attacks in other expansions, other base games, but these are 4 brand new ones. So like if you mix this with the original base game, you should now, I believe, have 8 different ones. The Feral Cat has different artwork, but the Feral Cat works the exact same. But that's kind of neat. So you could add a bunch more of these in here if you wanted to make that more of the game. Just think the bigger you make the deck, if you mix games together, the longer the game's gonna take. Alright, so you have some other interesting new cards. We have Reveal the Future 3X. So the 3X usually mention, whenever there's a number behind a card, it usually mentions how many times or how it affects something. It says install an extra pair of eyes on your brother for science. So show everyone the top 3 cards. This is a brand new card. I don't believe this has been any other set yet. You've had other ones where you get to reveal cards and you get to look at them privately and see what's coming up, or rearrange the deck. This just lets everyone see what's coming up, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so it says X3 because it's 3 cards. It's just a quick way for you to know how many cards it's going to affect. We have 3 different ones of these. Turn the toilet into a particle accelerator. And go back in time to test some dinosaur meat. Alright. Then the next card we have is our attack card. So we have an attack card, which is like this reddish orange. Says, do not draw any cards. Force the next player to take 2 turns. So you have the 2X mentions for 2 turns that way. Yep, okay. It says, use a flamethrower to make breakfast. So the attack cards are really fun because what it does is, for a full turn, means you have to play or pass, then draw a card. So this lets you not have to draw a card, which is very helpful because then you don't have any risk of drawing an exploding kitten. And that makes the next player have to know they can play any of their cards or pass, and then they have to draw a card. Then they have to play any other cards or pass, and then draw another card. So they have to draw 2 cards on their turn. So they could opt just the first time around to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna pass, draw a card, then you explode. Alright, then take your turn as normal if they want. Or they could play a card like Reveal the Future. Oh wait, there's something coming up. There's an exploding kitten in the next hand. Then they could choose to play an attack card and then skip their next. They would skip it forced the next player to take 2 turns, and it would end their current turn. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So this is not drawing any cards; they just skip their turns. So we have 2 different attack cards. Get a haircut using a hunting knife. Then we also have targeted attacks. It's the same colored border showing that it's an attack type card, and like all the reveal cards are the same. So they use the same color theme for the same type of cards, but they have different little symbols in the corner. Targets actually not draw any cards, force any player to take 2 turns. That play continues from that player. So the targeted or regular attack just does the next player. Targeted attack lets you choose somebody else. It's very fun if you're playing like a 5-player game. Um, or if you want to get super crazy and you make it a bigger giant game, you could definitely do that too. So surfing Alway and go spear fishing. And then we have grow a magical panther knee. Alright, our next card is the black one, the favor card. One player must give you a card of their choice. So it's definitely, you can hurt somebody else. Live stream a daring petting zoo escape. We have order a pizza to deliver you to your home. Make your friend entertain you. And make enough unicorn smoothie to share. So you get 4 of them. Alright, then our next card is we have Shuffle. Shuffle just says shuffle the draw pile. Just spot one of God's rejected creations. Oh look, a gorilla llama. So Shuffle can be a very powerful card. We already had the reveal of the future so you can see what's coming up. And then a Shuffle will definitely let you, hey, I know what's coming up. I can play a Shuffle to avoid it. Or if someone plays a Diffuse card and they put their Exploding Kitten back in the deck and you're like, oh, I don't trust them, you can just shuffle the deck, which then completely undoes wherever they put it if they put it in a strategic spot. Yeah, so this can be very powerful. And then a second one, we got Karen doesn't agree with your deck order. I'd like to speak to the manager. Alright, then we have another brand new card. We have Raising Heck, Raise a Demon. You can already tell he's gifted. Draw the bottom card from the deck, or from the draw pile. Look at it, either keep it or put it back on the top of the draw pile. This ends your turn. So this is kind of fun. So you draw the card, you can decide, ooh, it's an Exploding Kitten. Put it back on top for the next player. Or it's an attack card. I would really like that. Or a Shuffle. I already have 2 shuffles. I don't need one. Or it's a generic cat. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. And it also neat because it does end your turn. So if you have an attack, you could use this for the first one. Kind of maybe set yourself up for your next attack. The second turn you have to take for your attack. And then we have the second one says, raise that flush goldfish from long ago. Alright. And then the last set of cards is one of the best ones, the Nope cards. These are red, little hand with a stop sign. Nope said, stop the action of another player. Play this at any time. So these are the only cards you can play outside of your turn. But they will stop anything. So someone is playing an attack card on you or even another player. You can nope it and stop them from playing it. If they're playing a shuffle, you can stop them from doing that. If they're playing a diffuse card, you can stop them from playing a diffuse card. And then they have to explode. I play games where people have held on to these too long because they're like, well, I'm waiting until something bad happens to me. And then they're sitting there and waiting and waiting. The only thing you can't stop because it's the action of another player is you can't stop an Exploding Kitten. You can't nope an Exploding Kitten. Because that's not an action. It has to be a card. That's also why the Godcat says, except a nope. You can't, even God can't be a nope. Alright, so you have hunt down the elusive nope back whale. There she nopes. Feed your plant some miracle nope. Dodge some falling dominoes. Wash your sins away with nope soap. That's gross. And behold the active volcano. Alright, so that is what we have for this game, the Exploding Kittens. Yeah, so that's good versus evil. So I said, you can definitely just pick this up, sit down, play as a good, fun little one-off party game. You can pick up other expansions, base sets, mix and match them. They have one set specifically called Recipes for Disaster, which has little mini variants in it. You can check out my video. I'll try and remember to link it in there. Um, but yeah, you can check out that one. It has a little mini variants you can play, which change the deck size up so it might have a lot of attacks. Might take out no attacks. Might add a bunch more diffuses. Might add a bunch more exploding kittens. It gives you an idea of how you can mix and match and change up the game utilizing multiple sets. So although each base game can be played on its own, you can then after you play the games a bunch of times, you can make up your own decks. If there's a card type you don't like maybe you really you don't like the revealing card. It reveals cards, shows people, yeah, don't care about that. Get another set of cards, another deck. You can take that out, replace it with something else. Maybe you don't like the generic attack. You just think that's kind of lame. I don't like. I have to wait until I have two of them, so I have dead cards in my hand. Get rid of all of them, replace them with more attacks, more nopes. More diffuses. Make the game go a little bit more crazy. So yeah, definitely check that out. Uh, and then also keep an eye out. I will hopefully be doing kind of like a little mini buyer's guide. Um, that I did a previous one. And I'm gonna try and do an updated one since a few more sets have come out. All right, see you guys later. Bye.